firebombing of Dresden, Germany remains one of the most controversial and somewhat concealed components of the Second World War. 800 American and British aircraft dropped more than 3,400 tons of explosives on the city, reducing it to ashes and killing as many as 135,000 innocent civilians. The bombing is especially horrifying in that it was not ultimately beneficial to the Allied forces strategically, and it occurred just before what appeared to be a German surrender.
We were told from the Englishmen that the city would not be bombed. It was an open city that that nothing would happen to the city, and we felt safe even though we were prisoners in the war.
During the Yalta Conference of 1945, the Allied forces concluded that in order to weaken the Nazi regime, they would bomb against German cities known for production and manufacturing. Dresden was considered the cultural icon of northern Germany. Known as the Florence of Elbe, the city was filled with museums and historic buildings. In addition to its abundant artistic and architectural wonders, Dresden was a railroad hub and an industrial site with numerous factories.
The city was beautiful. It had theaters, restaurants, there was a zoo. It looked like a Sunday school picture of heaven. Telephone rang and they were answered. The main enterprises of the city was medicine and food processing and the making of cigarettes.
From 1939 to 1944, Dresden had been spared. It was the largest remaining city in the Third Reich that had yet to be bombed, and with good reason. Dresden did not seemingly have any reason to be attacked, having never been a city of war production or major industry. However, it is argued that Dresden was targeted with the goal of crippling German communications, transportation, and troop movements. However, some believe that the strategic benefits were insignificant and it was simply an attack on German morale. The hospitals that were still standing after the attack could not accommodate to all that were injured and burned. The problem was dealt with through mass burials. The removal process took weeks to complete. The attacks destroyed over 12,000 of the rich historical buildings that were iconic of Dresden. However, it is clear that the death toll of the attack is most heartbreaking. The bombing of Dresden is still relatively unknown to the general public. While some justify the attack based on the knowledge the Allies obtained about war production in Germany, its necessity and legitimacy is debated among historians to this day.
After the bombing, we had to pile out all the dead bodies, find all the dead bodies and just pile them all. Then we had to dig a hole for the mass burials. Instead of this, however, we then invented a new way of removing the dead bodies, which was just to burn them with a flamethrower. It was disgusting.
The bombing, which occurred in 3 waves, lasted for 2 days. However, the firestorm that was created as a result lasted many more. Because the Allies used incendiary bombs, the more Dresden burned, the more oxygen that was consumed, feeding the flames. It is believed that the temperature peaked at 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. The surface of the roads melted, and the civilians were burned as they ran. Charred bodies were scattered everywhere, including children.
Hello, my name is Kurt Vonnegut, and this is my story.
When a person dies, he only appears to die. He is still very much alive in the past, so it is very silly for people to cry at his funeral. All moments past, present, and future always have existed, always will exist.